Hey, welcome back to the garage, everyone. Tonight, I thought I might give you a little bit of history behind the old CJ-7. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by my channel. You may have seen this Jeep in a couple of other videos that I've done. I think I did one where I comically showed the complicated procedure for assembling the canvas top. This Jeep was also on the lift. I think I showed off my lift one day with that video, but I've never really talked about this Jeep and giving you a little bit of the history behind it. When I was in high school, in the early to mid 80s, the CJ-7 and the CJ-5 was the king of the road as far as four-wheel drives go, right? You could either get a 6-cylinder model, a 4-cylinder model, or a V8. Now, this one has a V8. You know, I thought about it for years and years and years, and I thought, well, you're not getting any younger, and by golly, I decided to pull the trigger one day. I was searching around on the internet, and I looked and looked and looked for quite some time, and ultimately I decided upon this model, this particular one here. Not, you know, being a little bit cheap. Not wanting to spend, tens of thousands of dollars on a trailer queen. I wanted a good one that was as in original a condition that I could find, but I wanted a V8. And I had a few other criteria that I needed to meet. So without further ado, let's just go through this thing. So what exactly is this? For the Jeep guys who know a little something about this, you'll know that this is a mid-80s body, right? This is a 1984 body, okay? And really the thing that sets it off is the AMC door handles, right? And these steel doors. This is the way the Jeep came. It had these full steel doors and the canvas top. And I thought to myself, well, that's a little odd, but you know what? Eventually, it kind of grew on me, and I don't mind it at all. I had to tweak the top a little bit to get the doors to seal, but they seal pretty good. So what you've got is a 1984 body with a 1979 rolling chassis. In other words, frame, transfer case, rear end, transmission, and the engine is from a 76. Now, why is it like that? Okay, you may ask. Well, hey, that's the way the previous owner wanted to build a Jeep the way he wanted to build it, right? The 84 body has some features that he liked, so he found himself a chassis, he found himself an engine, and he did the build in that way. Now, when I first got the Jeep, it had blacked out mirrors on it. It didn't have the stainless steel stuff that I put it on. I put stainless steel hinges on it. I put stainless steel and the stainless steel mirrors as well. The tires on the Jeep, these are Dunlops, all-terrain tires. They're really nice. I'm not sure you can get this model anymore. They're pretty old. A little later on, I installed a set of steps here. And, you may say, well, gee whiz, those poke out a little bit too far. Well, that's the way I wanted it, because I wanted my daughter, when she was small, to step up. And, when they're really close to the Jeep, it's kind of hard they're kind of hard to use. But these are really easy to use. You just, boom, and you're there, right? So a lot of people cover up their license plate. I have no idea why. That's so stupid. People on the highway see your license plate. Duh. The paint on this thing is original. The pinstriping is original. This is all 84, right? And I've over the years I've touched it up a little bit. There was a rust spot there. I sanded it down and put some primer on it, and it's come back. I need to redo that, so no big deal. The previous owner put these two bumpers on here. They need a little gloss paint. These things, they're original, right? The doors, these original AMC steel doors, God, they weigh a ton. Let me tell you what. Roll-up windows, everything works. So the Jeep came with this. It's got a cheap pair of bucket seats that he probably got off of Quadratec or Jeep 4x4 centers or something. They're actually in pretty poor condition. But I bought these cheap seat covers off from Walmart or someplace like that, and they're fine. I will say this: the cushioning in these cheap seats is actually really good. It has good lumbar support. It has good side bolstering to hold you in place. Now this Jeep did not come with, I don't know why, but he did not have shoulder strap type seat belts, and I installed these. I think I got these on Quadratech. I also installed a Tuffy steel security box. This thing is like a bank vault. Listen to this. I think the steel is like that thick. It's ridiculous. And of course it has a couple of drink holders there. Another thing I installed is it's a little dark in here, so apologies for that. Is a set of Polk audio speakers. I'll turn the lights on here in a bit and illuminate those. I got a retro sound radio installed. I didn't really want to cut a big gaping hole in there and put an aftermarket radio in it. I chose to use retro sound because you could use the original knob hole, so that worked out pretty well. Here's the original glove compartment. You know, nothing. I don't keep anything in there. No real need in it. So the original owner, I don't think this was here. He added this. He bought this aftermarket and added it, and did a fine job with the installation, I might add. It did not come with these sun visors when I bought it, and I added those later on. It did not come with carpet. It had a steel bottom in it, and I added carpet a little later on. Got a little spot of bother right here. I need to tighten that up a little bit. The back seat is new. I added that. And it has some nice padding on the roll bar. I added this light. You need to turn it on to the switch over there. All right, we'll come in from the driver's side. You'll see it's got some rust, right? Okay? Yeah, I mean, whatever. It needs paint, but hey, whatever. This switch right here is aftermarket. The original owner added it, so boom, you got that. And you got your original, or not original, you have a nice dome light there. You got a Grant steering wheel. Took a while for the airlines to fill up on the aftermarket horn. Rascal is loud as hell. It will send you out of your skin. So anyway, also it did not have this nice little vinyl thing. I added that later. One thing you got to keep in mind on these controls, these lever actuated controls, the first time I tried to use them, they all broke. The cable, the ends came off of the cables, just because they were cheaply made back in the day. So what I did was I went and got some plastic epoxy, and I epoxied the ends of the cables back together, and all of these cables, they're a little stiff, but they work. They work flawlessly. That is your air. Here's your temp, and here is your defrost versus heater. And then of course that is your fan on and off. Now this is a 3-speed model. 3-speed meaning H pattern. So we got reverse, first, down and in, up and out, down and out. 1, 2, 3. All right, and I also have a pair of Polk audio speakers and one of these pods that I got from Quadratech. I think I got it from Quadratech. All right, that's pretty much it for the interior, and let's raise the hood on this guy. Okay, got the hood up. Had to use 2 hands for that one. A little bit about the underhood. The previous owner had some really strange ideas about the way he wanted to do things. So when he had the engine out, he put this this undercoating stuff all over the fender, the firewall. I started to get some of it off over there, but I was like, ah, the heck with it. Here's the aftermarket horn that you heard a moment ago. This is a 304 AMC V8. Now the previous owner painstakingly rebuilt and souped up this engine in his garage with some guys with some really good engine builders. When I got it, it had the original 2-barrel intake on it and standard exhaust. So the things that I did to it, I added an Edelbrock Performer intake, an Edelbrock 500 CFM 4-barrel carburetor. I put an open face breather on it. I added a set of Hedman headers, performance ignition system from DUI, Performance Distributors. All right, so these engines, let's be honest, they were really anemic in the mid-70s. They were choked down by emissions. And I think the horsepower rating on the late 70s AMC 304, literally with a 2-barrel carburetor, was around 120 to 130 horsepower. They were pathetic, to be honest with you. This engine has a model 8900, or is it 8600? You can look it up on Summit. It's the AMC 304 or 360 engine camshaft from Summit Racing. I believe the part number is either 8600 or 8900, one or the other. It's a fantastic cam. It has good low end torque, but I tell you what, it likes the upper RPM range too. The camshaft that the original owner installed in this engine, plus the valve job, plus the performance ignition system, and the timing, I must say, on this engine is fairly far advanced. It will move, let's put it that way. The headers, I have MagnaFlow mufflers, true dual exhaust all the way back with a crossover pipe, the Edelbrock Performer intake, the Edelbrock 500 CFM carburetor. I'll be honest, this little 304, it moves out pretty doggone good. As a matter of fact, I've considered over the years replacing the 500 CFM with a 600 Holly just to see if it could handle it, and I believe that it could. I tell you what, one last thing on the engine before we leave this topic. If you've ever had a hot rod and you need some special linkages, you should go contact the people up at Locar up in Tennessee. I bought this linkage here from those guys. This is an accelerator pedal linkage, and they just do a fantastic job. I mean, everything is precision machined. It's aluminum or stainless steel. It's just fantastic. I haven't had 1 second of trouble out of it. Another addition, I replaced the original belt-driven fan with an electric one. A really nice add-on. You don't have to worry about the fan and everything. You know, if you're underneath here messing around and the engine's running, you don't have to worry about the fan. So plus it cools the engine a lot better. So I relocated the overflow tank. Originally the overflow tank on these Jeeps was over there. I'm not sure why I did it that way. To be honest with you, it was I think it had something to do with, oh, I know what it was. It was something to do with, this was an 84 body on a 79 chassis, and things were a little wonky, right? So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to move it, and I put it over here. It's easy to get to. There's nothing in my way, and you know, it bolts up to the fender. I drilled some, no, I take that back. I used existing holes for that, and it works fine. And I have the overflow hose routed in that fashion there. I painted I took the original valve covers and I took them off and I painted them, and they look fantastic. I'm really pleased with the way they turned out. Now there is another video. If you want to hear it run, check out my other videos. I got one where I ran it with open headers on the way to the exhaust shop, and that kicked ass. And then I have another separate one from when I returned from the exhaust shop with the new exhaust system. So check that out too. I do have an underhood light, but I keep the wire disconnected. It's actually right here. I keep it right here because there's no real need to, you know, look at that, it doesn't work. Ha! I got to change the bulb. I'll be dog. That'll give me something to do tonight. All right, and I'm going to leave that in there just to show you that I'm honest. All right, hey everybody. Thanks for listening to me ramble tonight. I appreciate you watching my channel. Please like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Have a great one.